Welcome to the Scoop School podcast, where we tackle your conundrums about the retail ice cream and frozen dessert business. And now, here's your host.
He dyed his hair brown so he could be more like a chalk top.
The ice cream bloke and self-appointed headmaster of Scoop School, Steve Christensen.
G'day ice cream lovers, my name's Steve Christensen. Again, thanks for joining us. It's nice to have you here. We're broadcasting from St. Louis, Missouri, the heart of the Midwest and the gateway to the West, from Scoop School here. Now, listen, we appreciate you jumping in on this podcast. It'll be a quick one, but it'll be a good one, very important. But we do want to thank our episode sponsor, which is Lloyds of Pennsylvania. Now, if you haven't gone to the Lloyds website, Lloyds, lloydsofpa.com, you're really doing yourself a disservice because you'll see the wide range of mixes that they have. They distribute all up and down the East Coast. They distribute nationally if they need them to, and they ship internationally. Ice cream mix, soft serve mix, gelato mix, and custard mix. Barry and Andy Jones, a great pair of people in the industry that will help you make some good decisions so far as your mix is concerned. Lloydsofpa.com. We thank you for your episode sponsorship. Now, I want to talk to you specifically in this episode of the podcast about tip jars. Now, I know this is going to be controversial and I'm going to get emails and hate mail and people throwing bricks through my window, but let me tell you about my perception of tip jars in ice cream stores. And I'm coming from a perception of someone who grew up in an environment where tips really weren't that common. In fact, a lot of places now, Australia is one of them, is that you typically don't tip. We just don't tip because our payment or our payroll system is a little bit different for people working in the food service industry. Here's my take on it. As a customer, if I'm going into a restaurant or a food service place and I'm sitting down at a table and someone's coming to my table and taking my order, then bringing my food to me, I generally tip that, and I think most people do. When you walk into an ice cream store and you stand at the front of the counter there, and your employee or the person who's serving comes up, takes your order, prepares it, and then gives it to you and you walk away, typically for me that's not a tippable occurrence. And so I don't necessarily tip in that regard. If I'm given excellence in customer service, I might leave a tip. But tip jars on the counter of an ice cream shop, I'm not all the way there. I'm not all the way convinced that it is a good representation of what your store is trying to achieve. So I know there are a lot of ice cream stores that have tips there, and the justification or the reason is because, look, our kids are on minimum wage, they don't earn a lot of money, the tips really help them, the customers like it, it gives them an avenue to kind of tip and thank the customers and or the employees, and that's fine. I just think that from a customer standpoint, from the people I speak to and as a consumer, I see a tip jar on an ice cream shop and think, they're just trying to get more money out of me. Now that being said, tipping is changing now with the iPad and tablet-based register systems where they turn the tablet around and one of the first questions before signing off is, how much would you like to tip? 5%, 8%, 10%, 15%, and then a big glaring button that says no tip that makes you feel like a real loser because you haven't, you pressed that right when the employee's standing there watching it. Again, that's an avenue to be able to reward great service, but I think in the ice cream industry as an ice cream retailer, our goal should be to be able to pay our employees a fair price and to be able to give our customers great value and a great experience that keeps our businesses solvent, it keeps them growing, and then we can return the favor to our employees by paying a little bit more or whatever. Again, I know that it's the ball's up in the air so far as, is it a good thing to do? Is it not a good thing? I really would appreciate your comments, questions. If you think that ice cream shops, or just a front counter ice cream shop should have a tip jar, write down your justification. If not, let us know as well. Shoot us an email at steve@scoopschool.com. Definitely be able to recover this or revisit this topic in a later episode with your comments. So appreciate you tuning in. Again, as a wrap up, tip jar or no tip jar, I typically say no, but I know that circumstances are different. I'd like to hear about your particular view on it. Keep on scooping, folks, and we'll see you in the next podcast.